I was 22 when this happened. I had just moved into a small apartment complex on the edge of town. It wasn't fancy, but it was my first place on my own, and I loved the feeling of independence. My ex Jess didn't take the breakup well. We had dated for almost 2 years, and while things were fine at first, he became controlling, jealous, and downright obsessive toward the end. When it finally ended, things got worse. He keyed my car, left notes on my windshield, and even begged my friends to convince me to come back. At first, I thought he would eventually give up, but then I started noticing his car. It was a gray Honda, and I would see it parked across the street from my apartment almost every night. Sometimes it would be there when I got home from work, headlights off, engine running, as if he were sitting silently under the streetlight. One night around 1 a.m., I woke up thirsty and went to get water. My kitchen window overlooked the parking lot, and when I glanced out, my stomach dropped. Jess was standing outside, leaning against his car, just staring up at my window. I froze. My lights were off, but somehow I felt like he knew I was watching. I ducked down and crawled back to my bedroom, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it echoed through the apartment. The next morning, I found a sticky note on my front door. It just said, "I miss us. Don't make me wait." I went to the police, but because he had not technically threatened me, all they could do was file a report. The situation escalated a week later. I was in my living room, scrolling on my phone, when I heard a step on the balcony outside. I lived on the second floor. My blood ran cold. I tiptoed to the sliding glass door and pulled the curtain back just a sliver. Jess was climbing up, gripping the railing like a man possessed. I screamed and called 911. The operator told me to stay locked inside until the officers arrived. Jess banged on the glass, yelling that I could not ignore him forever. By the time the cops showed up, he was gone. I moved out within a month. I don't know if he ever found out where I went, but to this day, when I see a gray Honda, my stomach knots up and I feel like I am right back in that apartment again. I met Sarah during college. She was funny, outgoing, and honestly, we clicked faster than I expected. We dated for 6 months, but things turned toxic quickly. She hated when I spent time with anyone else, and she would blow up my phone if I did not answer within 5 minutes. When I finally ended things, she blocked me on everything. I thought it was finally over, but about a month later, I started getting friend requests on Facebook, Instagram, even LinkedIn. The names always seemed different, but the accounts looked fake. No posts, no real friends, just a profile picture pulled from somewhere on Google. At first, I ignored them, but then the messages started. The first one was simple. "I see you went to Starbucks today. How was the latte?" I hadn't posted about going to Starbucks. I hadn't told anyone. The only way she could have known was if she had been there, watching me. The messages got more detailed. "Blue looks good on you. That girl you were with at the mall is not your type. Don't pretend you don't see me." It was like being haunted, but instead of a ghost, it was my ex, hiding behind countless fake profiles. One night, I was watching Netflix in bed when I heard my phone buzz. Another message. "Your curtains look nice when they are closed. Keep me from being distracted." I froze. I got up slowly, pulled the curtain back. Across the street, in the shadows, was someone standing, perfectly still. I could not make out the face, but I knew in my gut it was her. I called the cops, but again, they said unless she trespassed or threatened me directly, their hands were tied. It finally stopped after I deleted all my social media, changed my number, and moved back in with my parents for a while. But every time I get a random friend request from some empty accounts, my heart drops into my stomach. I was engaged once to a guy named Ryan. We were together for 3 years, and I thought he was the one. But the closer we got to the wedding, the more I realized how controlling he really was. He wanted access to all my accounts, demanded to know where I was at all times, and got angry if I did not answer his calls immediately. I ended it 6 months before the wedding. He moved out, but I kept the house because it was mine originally. I thought cutting ties would be enough, but Ryan had a copy of my house key. At first, it was little things. I would notice items slightly moved, a chair pulled out, a glass sitting in the sink I did not remember using. Then one night, I came home and the back door was unlocked. Nothing was stolen, but I could feel the air had been disturbed, like someone had walked through my home. I changed the locks the next day, but that wasn't the end. A week later, I was taking a shower late at night. Steam covered the bathroom mirror, and I was humming to myself when I heard a creak in the hallway. My heart dropped. I froze, listening. Then through the sound of the water, I heard a faint whisper. "You can't just erase me." I jumped out, dripping wet, grabbed a towel, and yanked the bathroom door open. No one was there, but when I ran to my bedroom, there was something new on my pillow. A Polaroid picture of me sleeping in my bed. I screamed and called the police. They searched the house but found nothing. They told me he'd probably broke in earlier and left the photo, then slipped out. I didn't spend another night there. I sold the house within the month. To this day, I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night, certain that someone is standing at the foot of my bed, holding a camera, always watching.